Cool.
Yeah, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, buddy. Rolling like a. I'm just kidding. All right.
Trial and
Oh,
error. Okay.
let's
We got
go.
we made it
All right.
work.
Here we are.
But dude,
Am
yeah,
I
thanks
straight?
for
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, you're good. You're
Cool.
golden. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to come on here.
Of course.
I met you. I'm trying to think. It was door to door con about a year ago, and then afterward, I kind of my buddy Jake told me about you,
Mm,
and then I didn't know much. All I knew is that you like got a golden door in solar, I think, and then you owned a pest control company. I'm like, how the heck is he doing all this?
yes,
And
yeah.
I'm just it kind of it kind of expanded my belief system because I'm super new to it. This will be my second full summer. The first time I did it like part time, um, but at the time I was just like, okay, like I know you can do well in this, and then okay, oh I see the golden doors. Okay, I know you can do
Mm,
that, and then I'm like, oh you could do that and own a company and do all these. It's like it's just
mm,
it's pretty crazy that the expansion of your belief system once you meet certain people and see what they're
totally.
doing. So, but yeah, I love your example and what you're doing um, online. Me, it seems like me and you are kind of cut from the same cloth. You
Oh, yeah.
obviously prioritize your fitness and you enjoy pursuing those things in your life and your family. I got two kids now. I think you how many you have?
Cool. Yeah, we're at three now. My
Three
wife
now.
wants to keep rolling, but I'm like, oh, easy does it.
Yeah.
We're just taking ours off the shot collar right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're a bunch of crazy ones. But yeah, we're at three.
That's awesome, man.
So
Well, so tell me about. I know we briefly talked about doing solar in Dallas. So are you still doing that, or was that like a short term
nope.
thing?
Yeah, just kind of short term. It was a great experience, kind of a um yeah, like I said, like a year adventure, which was a beautiful thing. But now we're full time with Synergy Pest Control with my company that I started about 8 years ago. So now I'm back in
Wow,
Utah, and it's been so fun to get back into the grind of things and the full swing. And yeah, the ebbs and flows of business and the challenges that it is itself. So we're grateful. We're grateful. We're in a very grateful position to where we're at right now, and still feel like there's so much to reach, right? We're at the very beginning stages, I feel like, even though we've been doing it 8 years, I'm still
yeah,
in the very beginning stages. And that's hard to wrap our heads around sometimes, but if you look at all the great successes, it took, it wasn't overnight, right? It just takes time, lots and lots of time and being patient. So, and that's the phase of life we're in.
that's awesome, man. And so what? Give me like a super brief. I don't know much about like your backstory, but what got you into like door to door in the first place?
Yeah. Um, got home from my mission and was going to LDS Business College at the time, and just was approached by a family friend, was like, dude, you would crush it in this, like, come try it. I was like, dude, I'm not a sales guy. Like, I'm just gonna focus on school. I know I just had sold, doing door to door with Jesus, all that good stuff. He's like, dude, if you can sell Jesus, you can sell pest control. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Felt like I had decent success on the mission. It was definitely a blessing. And so I was like, what the heck? What do I have to lose? Let's go. I was like, if I make X amount, I'll be happy. I'll be stoked. I had never really made money really at that point. So I went out to Colorado actually my first summer, and the only things that I remember learning because I played sports growing up were the two things that you can control are your attitude and effort. Those are the
Yeah,
two
dude.
things those are the two things that you can control every single day. That's it. You can't control the rain, you can't control the sun, you can't control literally anything other than those two things. And so I just knew that if I did those two things every single day better than anyone else or at my highest capacity, then I would do okay. So that's what I did. Just one step in front of the other, and did pretty well my first summer, and then so on and so forth. And went out the next year, income after that. And then after that, I just eventually started my own company. It's kind of a long journey, but that's kind of where I started.
That's cool. And so you've had this synergy for 8 years, you said,
Yeah,
and throughout those 8 years, obviously this. How long were you in Dallas doing solar then?
just a year. Yeah,
Just a
about a
year.
year. Yeah.
Okay. And what made you want to do that versus just sticking to what your business?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that, and for me, it was a call. I was so comfortable in where I was. I had a house in Lehigh. I had the same situation over and over again for the 7 years. I was like, I need a change, and honestly, it was God speaking to me. I truly felt pushed to go do and explore some other things, not even for financial reasons, more for, I think, my family growth. Because that's what's most important to me is my family. And so we needed to get outside of our comfort zone. We needed to experience something completely different, to grow. And I, I can tell you right now that it was the greatest blessing for my family. We went through a lot of hardship, a lot of challenges that year, but we grew in a massive way. So me and my wife have had this thing. We're retarded when we do marathons, and it's just the dumbest thing ever. But I've hurt myself every freaking year I do marathons, and for some reason I continue to do it because it pushes me. And we've got David Goggins as a good example of, like, can't hurt me. And I truly believe, like, the harder you push yourself, when trials come your way, you're not going to be hurt. You're not going to be moved by the emotion. Don't let your emotion dictate your actions, right? So,
Yeah.
right, if we're on the doors and we get the door slammed in our face, or we have a Karen, through her Ring doorbell that's yelling at us, if we let those emotions dictate our next action, we will be hosed, right? We have to move forward with a positive attitude on the next door and not let it bring us down. So that's kind of the story of the moving to Dallas. Is we felt moved to push ourselves in so many different ways, and to go fail in a lot of ways, right? We failed a lot of times throughout the year, and had a lot of successes though as well. So yeah, we just wanted to explore. Life is so short. It doesn't matter. Like, life's not that serious. I've realized nothing is that um yeah, nothing's that serious. It's like, go experience some stuff. Um have some fun on the way. And that's what this last year was for us, and it put us in a really good spot, honestly, financially, um and the business was able to grow at the same time. So it was fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, I definitely feel like we think very similarly in that sense because I that's kind of why I named the podcast like the Suffer on Purpose podcast is because
Mm,
for a long time I all I did growing up was sports all the way till I was
right.
in college 25 and that was my last year and but the thing that I realized is like my upbringing was I had great parents. Like my upbringing was pretty easy, I would say. I didn't have a lot of like trials, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I felt like I had to push myself in other ways in order to like prepare myself for like real life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I know it sounds kind of weird, but yeah, coming going back to like the fitness thing, it's like that's kind of where I that's like the first thing I could think of like where I could put all my effort into in controlling that
Mhm.
part of my life, right? Just
Totally.
because it it is something that pushes you and prepares you mentally and physically for other aspects of life. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think with the whole door to door thing, like that's probably what attracted me to it was just the fact that you and especially with summer sales, right? You go out for the summer and you grind, and then you have like a rest period of like reflection and spending time
Mhm.
with family, and it reminds me so much of like playing football. And I think that's
Mhm.
what really got me into it in the first place. But with you, so with Synergy, it's a Utah based company? Like you guys are in Utah?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're your local bug boy. right? So
Local
there's
bug
a
boy.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we're your that's what kind of our logo is here
Yeah,
with a guy stepping on a bug, so it's kind of fun.
that's
Grew
awesome.
up grew up as a cowboy, so there's cowboy hat on him. So, um, it's fun. Yeah, just here locally, service anywhere from like Ogden to like Payson area. So, there's so much growth here in Utah. We feel like it's really just the beginning. So many people are moving here, lots of new development. So it's
Yeah,
massive. It's a really cool opportunity for the pest game.
that's really cool. So, yeah, tell me about that because I know I have friends that, they knock all over the country, but I have friends that knock in Utah, in other markets, and
Hmm.
you hear, so I go out and sell in Florida right now, right? And you hear all the limiting beliefs of like, oh, it's so saturated in Utah or in Florida,
Yeah.
and it's like, how do you feel like you are able to overcome the limiting beliefs and just succeed regardless? Like, what do you think the difference is?
Yeah, I just truly feel it's just experience for me, and what you tell yourself, right? I'm a big I'm a big golfer as well. I love golf. On the golf course, you're playing a tough course, and it starts to rain, right? You're like, oh my gosh. You can either think one of two things. You can say this round is going to be over, and you know. I'm gonna just shut down my mental stability right now because it's so tough. Or you can be like,
Yeah,
I absolutely love this rain. This rain makes me play better. I'm really excited to play in the rain. And that's the same mentality when you knock anywhere. You could say Florida's saturated. You could say that Arizona or California or Utah is saturated. Um, but I truly feel anywhere you go, you can have success as long as you have a belief in yourself and your abilities to prove that you can sell anywhere, right? And that you have the confidence and the product and the service. And I truly feel that we have that here. We've been able to develop a really cool process to be that local presence here in Utah. So like you don't have to go out of state to crush it, to close deals. You can make I mean, I got a golden door here in Utah in pest. So that's it's just a belief system. So it's definitely possible.
that's really cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, do you have like knockers and stuff, or do you guys just
Yeah,
market?
little bit of
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, we do door
Okay.
to door. We still do door to door. I always tell myself, man, I'm gonna get out of the door to door. I'm gonna just do online presence and all that good stuff. But I actually love it. Like I love door to door. There's something about getting out there and proving to yourself that you can go produce at any point. You can go put me out in any neighborhood right now, and I know I'm gonna pull in many deals. So like you drop me off anywhere and I know that you put me in Walmart, I'm gonna go close deals. You can put me in Home Depot, I will go
Yeah.
I will go make it happen. And just that's the mentality that you have to have as a high producer is like, I just need people to hear me, and as long as they have a credit card and a home or somewhere to service, I'll make it happen,
Yeah.
And that's I truly believe that. And in fact, that would be a fun little like that'd be a fun game to play. It's like
That would be fun.
where can you sell? Drop me. It's like you're
Dude,
dropping me off
that's what we're gonna do.
let's go, bro.
We're gonna get a videographer. We're gonna go into Walmart. We're gonna just see how many deals we can close.
You get 1 hour. You get
Yeah,
one
dude,
hour.
that'd be so
Go
fun.
go to show that like no matter where you are, if you have a belief in yourself, you're like, hey, you got some produce there. You got some oranges. You know what that was sprayed with, right? That was pesticides. Yeah, just make sure the bugs aren't getting in. You can sell anywhere
That's
to
so funny.
make it fun. So it'd be fun.
Yeah, dude. No, we for sure need to do that. That'd be some good content.
Heck yeah.
But well, yeah. So when when it comes to, so you guys are in Utah, right? You're a
Yeah.
local Utah business. When it comes to door, why do you think it is such a great opportunity? Because I tell everybody, like, there's like this big AI generation, where
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and AI is freaking cool. I use it for to clip these podcasts, and it's
Love
like
it.
it's amazing. But in my opinion, I don't believe I think it only enhances our ability to produce at a higher level. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to like replace, human connection, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
think door to door is so important for that human connection, and because you can't replace that.
No.
And learning how to communicate and persuade and like
Mm-hmm.
sell is just such an important skill. But yeah, why do you think like it is? Do you believe door to door is going to go out the window someday, or do you think it's always going to be a thing?
No, man. I mean, I mean, it's been around forever. They've been doing newspaper sales since early on, 1900s, probably even sooner. Um, I think it will always be a thing. Um, there's something to be said about going and knowing that you can go produce by just knocking on a door, not spending any money, just controlling the two things that we talked about earlier, which is your attitude and effort. Those are the two things that you can, and knowing that you can go produce, whether you're pest, whether you're solar, whether you're security, whether you're fiber, whatever you're selling, having the ability to go do that. I think there's always going to be companies for a long time, at least in our lifetime, it's always going to be a thing. I always tell people like my daughter will do door to door because
Yeah,
it's hard. It is very hard, especially when you first start. It's very
yeah, oh
difficult.
yeah,
It's very difficult to be like, man, that person was a little something, and it's like just learning how to, like I said, learn to control your emotions and stay on a high. Like Tony Robinson says, to change your physiology, right? Change something. So if something happens on the doors that's like totally throws you off, do some jumping jacks, listen to some music, or listen to something funny that's going to get you in a positive state, because you have to control your state, because if you're in a negative state, are you going to sell well? No, you're not. Right? You have to control your state. That's why I go to the gym every single morning, because I that's the first thing I can do in the morning to control the state of mind. Right? So I go to the gym and I instantly become more positive. I instantly become more happy. The endorphins start rolling. And I'm like, man, what am I going to accomplish today? I'm so excited to take on today, right? If you lay in bed, you're like, man, what should I do? You don't know what you're going to do in the mornings. There's too much space to to let negativity and the natural man to come in and just crush you. You have to have a plan at least in the morning so that your brain can start moving. And that's really just moving your body. You got to move your body and you got to listen to positive things. So that's one thing I do know that has helped me um, project success in my day to day.
yeah. Have you ever gone to like a Tony Robbins event or anything, or any sort of event of that nature?
Yeah, oh, all the time. Yeah, I'd sign up for a lot of those, and a lot of it's great. A lot of it's some. Again, you got to take some with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I love the vibe. I love the way that he teaches the concept of energy, the concept of physiology, the concept of like, creating systems and organization within your life. And he loves to serve, those the serving aspects, whatever is going to make you happy, I'm all about, because life is hard enough. Like we struggle with so many things every single day. I'm all about trying to find ways to be happier every single day, because we suffer every single day, like the podcast, right? We suffer every single day in our hearts. And the reason why we do that is we think that everyone else has made it. We think that that guy has made it. I haven't
yeah,
made it. I'll tell you right now, I have not made it. And guess what? A lot of the people that are rich, that are wealthy, they may have made it on their financial paperwork, but in their hearts, a lot of times they have not made it. They're hurting inside. They're wishing they could be you. They're wishing they could be me, because of some of the ability to be happy. And that is talent, learning how to be happy, trying to find a way to be grateful and give gratitude every single day for the things that we do have. I feel like that has been a huge change perspective for me, is like, man, if I'm having a bad day, I always try to think, man, there's 44 or 40 something million women every single day that have to go haul water, and go search for water every single day, right? And we have water out of the faucet, right? We have a place to sleep. We have the needs to to survive. Whereas a lot of people don't have that. So I'm extremely grateful for the even though we've had our challenges, me and you both, right? We've suffered a lot in our life, but I know that we are grateful people to know that we have legs, we have arms, we have our mouth, we're in decent health. And those, I promise you, over a long period of time, are way more important than the bank account, your happiness and your joy.
Yeah, I think that's probably the. I mean, like this last year, like I told you, was my first full summer, all the whole summer on the doors, and that was probably the thing that I had to rely on the most was just like gratitude, like because
Mm-hmm.
it's so easy to like compare, get on
Mm,
Instagram, see who's
killer.
doing 10K a day consistently, and you're just like, what the like, what am I doing? And but it's like, well, like we get to come out for I get to come out for summer and
Mm-hmm.
produce what most people can barely do in a year, which is pretty cool. That's a
It's
pretty
amazing.
amazing opportunity. And so it's like putting myself in that gratitude state, kind of like you were saying, getting that right state. I think it helped me a lot just get through the hard days and actually
Mm.
produce without like going through like a bagel day or something.
Oh yeah.
But what do you feel like, in your opinion, is the biggest separator with high performers versus like I'm trying, maybe I wouldn't say like average, but like someone who's like wants to be a high performer and they just aren't. I'm
Mm.
gonna give like I'm probably a good example. Last year, right? Like I had this audacious goal, and I didn't know relatively even what it would take or anything, but yeah, I wanted to get a golden door, and I got 200K in revenue, and it's like, okay, what do you feel like is the separators? Do you feel like it's more mindset, more
Mm.
skill, a little bit of mix of both? Like, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's a combo of everything, right? You don't beat yourself on that, right? Don't beat yourself up. That's phenomenal. Like, it took me a long time to have a breakthrough. You know, the guys that the guys that really produce at a high level, they get really good at self-belief. I would say that is the number one thing, is like just having this self-belief that I could literally go talk to anybody and make it happen. I have that belief on every single person I talk to. I believe I can close every single deal, every single person, and do I do that? No, I don't. I don't close every person that I talk to. Absolutely not. But if I go into it like this could go good or this could go bad, there's again, if you give too much space to the negativity, then that it's going to feed that, right? Whatever you've heard the wolf analogy, it's whatever you feed in your head.
Mm,
So obviously you have to have the skill. You can have crazy amount of belief, you can believe you're going to do all these things, but if you don't have the skill to accomplish it, then you don't know anything about the service, you don't know anything about the product, you don't know how to close the deal and get the paperwork done. You have to have all of the skills and the belief to make it happen. So like all of it, you have to have it all. You have to have it all
mm,
to be successful. So it's not just one thing. You have to have the correct training. You have to have enough hours on the doors, right? To put in like, man, oh, that's what I said wrong. I need to pivot and maybe do this, or I need to give a better option close, or I need to do this a little bit better, or my tone, right, needs to change just a little bit, or my confidence needs to change a little bit. So it's really just tweaking things like a free throw, or you're running back and you have to read the defense, right? It's just tweaking little things to become 1%, 2%, 5% better. Hopefully we
We're
can
back. We're back.
hopefully we can help someone on this, even if it's just one thing that someone's, that's why I do podcasts. That's why I'm totally open to help in any way. Is people need help, right?
Hmm.
People need help. So it's finding little nuggets. When you read a book, it's like the whole book was, you know, great, but I got one sentence that helped me. So that's what I'm
Dude,
hoping
that's so true,
right?
dude. I feel like I was listening to a podcast with Hormozy, and he was talking about that.
Mm,
Like you have all the a lot of the gurus talking about, oh, I read 5 books a day, whatever BS they're saying. But
Yeah.
I feel like I've always struggled with that because like I'll read like right now I'm reading Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and I
Mm-hmm.
read like one page, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go apply that right now. It's not
Mm,
like I'm gonna keep reading and forget what I just got from this, you know. And
mm-hmm.
that's kind of how I treat the scriptures too. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with just like, okay, let's sit down and read 5 chapters. It's like I'm not gonna get that just goes over my head. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've never been that type of person that it can just absorb all that information. But I agree with you
Totally.
there. Like it's like the little nuggets because realistically, it's like all the things that people learn, the self development. This I like to call it. This is kind of bad, but like mental masturbation. It's
Mm-hmm.
like,
That's what it
yeah,
is.
I did this for years, dude. Where I would just consume all this information and like I'm like, okay, I'm still poor, I'm still
What am I going to
broke.
do with this? Yeah.
What am I gonna do with it? You know? And
Yeah.
then as soon as I got into door to door, that kind of changed like everything for me. It's like, okay, this is like something that I can literally just go apply the skill and
Mm-hmm.
I'll at least make X amount of money. Like I'll be okay, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Totally.
so that's pretty cool though. It's so true.
Yeah.
But dude, just like just for time's sake, sorry, but kind of wrapping up, what so obviously you've had a lot of success up to this point in your life. You are, you know, husband, father. Um, we're pretty similar in the same boat. I feel like with our mindset, and we're both married, both have kids. How do you feel like? And I asked this to my last guest that you probably
Mm.
saw, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you feel like you manage and balance like the dad guilt of the ambition that you're chasing a goal versus like being present where you are with your kids and your family and your wife?
Mm-hmm. And I can tell you've been suffering with this.
Yeah,
Am I
yeah,
right?
every day, dude.
Do
Yes,
you do you feel it every day? Like, man, I'm
I
going to
feel
Florida.
like if I'm with if I'm with my kids for too many days in a row, I get
Mm-hmm.
very antsy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially like off season, you know, like in the off season
Mm-hmm.
when you're not knocking, like I have more
Mm-hmm.
availability to be present. And it's like, it's hard because I feel like I need to be doing something to
Mm-hmm.
make money or provide or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
rather than like just me being grateful to be here and support my wife and her career. And like,
Mm-hmm.
it's the hardest balance for me. But yeah, I was just
Yeah.
curious how you manage that.
Yeah. It's it's not perfect. I'm telling you, everyone struggles with that. You're not the only one and you're not alone. Um, I can promise everyone that's married or that has kids, it's very difficult to go out on the doors or to be away from family for long periods of a time. I would say, how do I deal with that? I just now in the season of life that I'm in, um, you know, being able to stay local is the biggest thing for me, right? Being able to come home to my kids and at least be home by bedtime, tuck them in. And I spend a lot of the
Mhm.
mornings with them, right? We've got systems set up to where like I'm able to be spend a lot of time with them in the mornings and get my heartfelt love to them in the mornings and like get it out of my system because we all need that. We love our kids more than anything and we'll do whatever we possibly can to help them, to love them, to support them, and I'll tell you that's way more important than anything in this whole world is developing your children and helping your children to become the men and women that they need to be. And you just have to make it a flow state, right? So it's like you can't spend too much time with the family, right? You know, and you can't spend too much time out on the doors or working, right? Because you know, everyone always says there's not balance, there's no such thing as balance. There's no such thing as balance. I get that, to a state, and that might be more important to them. That's totally fine. They might be more successful than me. They might be better at XYZ, but my heart and your heart and whoever's heart, you know, you have to identify what's most important to you, and then you have to still have to work, but you have to find time from this time to this time I'm with my family, and then from this time to this time I'm dedicating to work. And of course we go through seasons of life where we may have 40% with our family and 60% with work, or 10% here and 90% here. That's okay. There's going to be a season of life, and that's what you're going through right now is a season of sacrifice so that you can step up. And you're not going to do this forever. This isn't going to be your forever thing, but it could be. It could be, right? But it's not going to be as much time dedicated away from the family. But again, you get to decide your ship. You get to write your own story in your own book. You get to write your own story. So you're like, this is what I'm choosing. I'm not going to let anyone else dictate what I do. I'm not going to let anyone else dictate where I spend my time. I'm going to dictate where I spend my time. Right? So I need to control myself. So that's why I own my own business, is because I get to control it. I get to control how much time I spend on work, how much time I spend with my family. And I've been able to be successful in that portion, because when I spend my time with my family, I'm more successful. I'm happier. And when I'm happier when I'm communicating with people, whether that's, training people, or getting out with the technicians, making sure the job's done right, reaching out to customers. I'm a happier person when my heart is feeling better, right? And everyone's so different, whatever's important to you, don't let anyone else take that away from you. Whatever's important to you, don't let anyone write your story. You get to write your story. And that's what I'd say is you get to dictate what you want to do every single day, every single week, and every single month, and every single year. You get to dictate what you want to do. Close out music. Deuces. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, dude, I love that. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming on. And yeah, we for sure need to do this again.
Let's do
Make
it.
like a
Happy to do it.
hour long gym vlog or something. Cause
I would love to. Let's make it
yeah,
happen.
dude,
Go tell some jokes or whatever.
yeah, go to Home Depot, or Walmart, close some deals.
Let's go.
I appreciate you though, man. Thank you so much.